Many times what happens is you have your general plan based on your recovery, but you find out your opponent might have a weakness. In that case, you can deviate from the plan of your recovery to exploit or attack that player's weakness. In this case, we might just assume that Ian has a weaker backhand. Well, the strategy would tell us that if we had to run over here for a forehand and hit that forehand cross court for our recovery, that might not be the idea to do if his backhand is worse. So I might hit to his backhand, understanding that I have to run more for the recovery, but I think that he's not going to be able to hurt me very much. A typical pattern in that situation is to try to hit 2 balls to the weaker side for every ball you hit to the stronger side. So you're not now thinking quite as much about your recovery, you are thinking about hurting the person with the weakness. So we can do this drill in 2 ways. The first way we're going to do it is just a dead ball situation where Stevie, if you'd run over there and join Ian, that would be great. This is the situation where one player has a slightly weaker backhand, say, than a forehand. So I'm going to hit each of these guys 3 balls, and they're going to go twice to the backhand and once to the forehand, regardless of where they get the ball. So you're going to go twice to this side and once to here. So we might go forehand, we go down the line, boom, we recover, we go backhand, we go cross court to the backhand. There we go, and now he can go to the forehand cross court. Now it's Stevie's turn. He's going to go 2 times to the backhand. Might give him the same ball. Then he's going to go once to the forehand. So again, the whole idea is to try to pick on that weaker side at a ratio of 2 to 1. Boom, and then he goes cross court. So you can vary what you like to do, and the reason why you want to go 2 to 1, one of the biggest mistakes when you're picking on somebody's weakness is to go to that weakness all the time. I had this happen to me one time myself in a match. I was playing a guy whose forehand I knew was a little shakier than his backhand, and the rule about that guy was, well, you got to play his forehand. Well, in the first set, I hit every single ball to his forehand pretty much, and I won the first set. But what I found out was, after the first set, he had actually improved his forehand to the point, because he'd hit so many, that he got good at his forehand. So you want to keep that player honest when you do that. Once you've done this 2 to 1 ratio, what you might do is do this in a little more of a live ball situation. Stevie's going to come back to this side over here. And we're going to do a live ball thing where they're going to rally, and Ian is simply going to practice hitting 2 balls to Stevie's backhand side for every one of his forehand. Now Stevie's backhand's pretty good, so it might not show up that it really hurts Stevie as much, but this is still worth practicing, the ability to put a ball twice to that side and then go to the other. Now he's going to go to the forehand side. Again, he plays twice to the backhand side. That's a very good ball. Perfect. Then he goes to the forehand side. So this is just a nice common pattern to do. You don't actually have to do it exactly in 2 to 1s, but it really does help out the situation quite a bit. Let's look at one more of these. Very good rallies. All right, the next situation, what happens when you have a player that has a weak volley or weak attacking game? They're very good at the baseline, but they don't attack very well. You'd like to maybe bring them to the net. You don't have to do that with a drop shot. You can do that with basically just a nice, short, even ball that sits just a little bit around the service line that's low. You might want to slice that ball to get on there and see if you can't force them to come in. The trick of this is you don't have to pass the person on the very next one. You want to actually make them volley. If their volley's the weakness, exploit it. So again, as I mentioned earlier, passing shot is a really bad name for this type of shot. It might just be a shot to their volley, and see if you can pick on that weakness.